Hi everyone. In Psalm 84 verse 10 it says this: "Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked." And so here the psalmist is talking about what is better. And so I wonder how often you actually stop and think in your life, what's better? We get so locked into the pattern and the routine and the rhythm of our life, which rhythm's a great thing, but how often do you stop and think about, well, what's better? What could be better? What could be different in a positive way? And so the psalmist here is taking the time to think about what is better in his life. And he talks about presence. He says better is a day in your courts. And so here we're talking about the temple. We're talking about the place in Israel where God's presence dwelt. And so for us, we don't go to a temple. We don't have to go to a particular location. This side of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, God's presence is with us wherever we are. It's a matter of tuning into that. And so the psalmist is saying better is a moment, is a day in God's presence than 1,000 years elsewhere. The goodness of just a moment, just a day, just a minute in the presence of God outweighs all of the good that can be contained in 1,000 years in any other place. And then he goes on and he talks about status. He says, I'd rather be a doorkeeper, which is a pretty lowly position, in the house of God, in the presence of God, than dwell in the tents of evil men. Then he's saying, I'd rather be the lowest position if I get to be in God's presence than to have high status, to have a high position apart from God's presence. And so that's where the rubber hits the road when we think about what's better. It's about what would it cost us to have what's better. And so the psalmist encourages us, and my encouragement for you today is to think, what is better? What is better than the rhythm, the pattern, the routine of my life, whatever that is? And I want to encourage you that even if you just add one moment of your day dwelling in the presence of God, even if that costs you something that seems important right now, that it will be better, that there'll be so much goodness in that moment that you couldn't outweigh that spending the rest of your day elsewhere. So may you today, by God's grace, experience the presence of God in a way that makes you see, believe, and know that it is better than anything else this world can offer. Amen.